A short time ago in a galaxy nearby, a podcast was made to inspire and entertain. Casual Space. Making space available, one story at a time. Your host with grace, Beth Mund.
Hi, everyone. It's Beth Mund, and it's that time of year, back to school. So as you grab your books, your pencils, your notebooks, I want to invite you into something that I think we all are feeling this time of year, and that is the continuing need to learn and grow. And it's in the air, right? Seeing everyone get back on the buses and get ready for school schedules. It's certainly happening at my house. I'm inspired by the opportunity we have that reading provides. Reading gives us that story, that invitation to step into learning through narrative and through stories. And I have a very special place in my heart when it comes to reading. For me, everything starts with a book. When I was little, my parents were just about to have the second baby, my little sister, and I was 5. So I was already almost probably in kindergarten and reading. Thank you everyone for teaching me to read so early, because I could sit with a book for hours, and it was a treat to go to the library or sit on grandma's lap and just go through books. So my love for learning and reading started really early. And I'm so grateful because it brought me not only into a world where I could escape the baby and the cries and all the things that come with a newborn, and go step into my own world of fantasy or adventure or colors and animals and all the things that you read for when you're little. And it was such a treat. And it didn't feel like it was ever a chore. It felt like not just an escape, but an invitation to use my imagination that was validated on the pages in front of me. And I read everything anyone gave me. And as I continued to grow and continued to read, I would beg my parents to go to the library. Now, to be fair, I'm aging myself here, and the library was where it's at because we didn't have internet, and I think we were just arriving at VCRs. So if we were lucky to have a story that was captured on a VHS tape, it was played over and over and over again. I mean, I was that young. So going to the library meant opening a world of possibilities through stories, and I loved it. I reveled in the days I could get lost in the corner and curled up with a book, or just run through the aisles and pick any book off the shelf and just choose based on the color or the title or the picture and lose myself in that story. So again, reading is one of my greatest joys, whether it's still today, whether it's on a quiet Saturday morning or one of the week evening nights when the house is quiet finally, the chores are done, the work is over. I'm not saying it's quiet in my house, but it's still enough that I can get lost in something other than the daily grind. And today, I want to share with you not only my love and invitation of learning, ongoing learning through stories and through reading, but I want to share my fall reading wish list with you. And perhaps you'll find or join me in reading some of the things that will inspire you, and join me on the journey to be productive and also inventive and curious. So it might not surprise you that I have a book club that is space-based. We only read space-based books, and we read everything from, and I'm so fortunate enough to be the host of this podcast, I get sometimes the very first look at some of the most incredible guests who are authors. I have access to their books, sometimes before it's even available. And what a privilege that is for me to be able to step into my industry and read and learn about things before they're even published. So sometimes I get to choose those books, but sometimes the books choose me and they find me. And when I get to choose books, I still choose space books. I love it. I, of course, love reading about space. But I also love books that teach me a thing or two or inspire me to be a person that has lived a life or had a path with certain values. Or, of course, I need to learn how to run a business, how to enhance my health and wealth, and how to volunteer properly and give what I can of my talent. All of these things books help us accomplish. So right now, I'm reading two standouts. I have not been able to put down. I've read them, I've reread them, and now I can't stop sharing and writing about them. Let me share them with you here. There are two, and then I'm going to read and share with you my wish list of 6 books for the fall. So let's start with the first one. Here it is. And for those of you listening in the podcast without seeing it, uh, this is Walt Disney, an American original by Bob Thomas. And Walt is cleverly pictured here on the front, looking a bit serious, to be honest. For everything I know now about Walt Disney, this looks like a very serious picture. And in the shadows, next to him in the doorway, is a shadow image profile of who else? Mickey Mouse. So, as you can see, also, this is quite the book. It's quite an extensive book. This is the book, as I continue to hold it up, that Disney employees are required to read as they join as cast members, because everything started obviously with Walt Disney. And here is the answer to this question: who would you want to meet, whether living or dead, and have a conversation with? For me, and as it turns out for many others, it's Walt Disney. I will admire any person who can turn a swamp into the most incredible magical place on earth. But I especially admire someone who was so persistent and had such a vision. I admire someone who can bring a lot of the childhood feelings of joy and adventure and happiness to life through his animations. I think for a lot of people, this was the case. So Disney kept going despite many, many factors that often were his obstacles. He lost money, he lost employees, he lost favor with his critics, but he never lost sight of his vision. And this book that I'm reading never goes out of print. Did you know that? There's several copyrights because they keep adding notes to this book from some of his previous employees, some of the people and family members who loved him and had the privilege of working with him. And they keep this book in print, which really tells you something. People love admiring and learning about Walt Disney. I'm going to be continuing to process this book and learn from this person who over and over again overcame obstacles, faced adversity, moved it forward, stayed true to his vision, and built us something that we're still enjoying today. And that is the magic of this book. Whatever you think you knew about Walt Disney before, I invite you to check out this book, an American original, again by Bob Thomas, and be surprised. I am writing a whole nother post on my newsletter. Extra Space is a great place where you get a little bit of more of me and my ideas and what I'm reading and what I'm watching, what's influencing me, what I'm inspired by. It's a newsletter that lives on LinkedIn, and I have unpacked and will continue on to unpack the Walt Disney book, this amazing collection about his life, in that newsletter this week. It's coming out this week. So if you really want to get some more of the behind the scenes of how I'm implementing the values and ideas and concepts in this book in my life, please join me and subscribe to Extra Space, the newsletter on LinkedIn. Okay, next book, which I don't have in front of me. I wish I had grabbed it before I ran in here, but it's called Slow Productivity: The Lost Art of Accomplishment Without Burnout by Cal Newport. Okay, this book is your permission to stop trying to do it all. Stop. You know how people ask us when we're engaging with them and we're passing and we say, "How you doing?" "Busy." "How you doing?" "Oh, so busy." And you can say busy in a million different ways. And it can mean a million different things. Busy, with excitement, based on how you deliver it. Well, this is your book, and this is your permission to stop stop the busyness. And it presents through Cal a really unique perspective on how to, dare I say it, enjoy your work. Enjoy your work. Okay. Cal walks us through what happens when we work a little at a time over long periods of time and at your own natural pace with intention. When is the last time you worked like that? When is the last time you stepped into something when you were ready to? You stayed with it as long as you wanted to. You did it with intention and purpose, and you did it with quality. That's the book. That's the book. Remember quality? Remember when things were made with quality? I just had lunch with a friend the other day, and she was telling me how their air conditioning unit went out. And it wasn't as simple as replacing a unit that they thought was under warranty, and it wasn't that long ago when it was installed. Turns out it didn't just need an air conditioning replacement, it needed wiring, it needed venting, it needed a whole lot of more work and more money than they had expected. And then she goes on to tell me that their neighbors just next door have still had the same air conditioning unit running for over 30 years. 30 years, same air conditioning unit. We're working like a charm. That's quality. And that is the invitation that Cal Newport extends to you in this book, where he says, again, work slow and steady at your own pace and produce quality. I love this book. And again, it's a challenge, but if you really can enjoy it and find yourself in that rhythm or find yourself attempting that, then this book has served you well. And it certainly has for me. I'll let you judge my quality work, if I'm producing quality work, because I have enjoyed a little bit of a time off from the podcast this summer and recording these episodes. I've missed it, but I've enjoyed it. Now, I could have just jumped back on and thrown together an episode. And a couple of times I was tempted to because I had an idea and I wanted to get it out and share it with you. But I love trying to provide to you quality work. It's worth your time, I hope, to tune in and watch this and listen to the podcast. I appreciate that. And I want to give that to you. And I really enjoy stepping into this. I have my notes here in front of me. Obviously, I've read the books, and I was very thoughtful about putting this next reading wish list forward for you. And I hope I continue to produce quality work that you enjoy. Okay. In the spirit of back to school and in the spirit of reading, here are my 6 wish list books that I'm going to be jumping into over the course of the next season here as we turn around into the fall. Not yet, though, right? Are you still holding on with me? I know I am. I look out the window here in my studio and it's still green and lush. We've had a ton of rain. I love this time of year and not one single leaf has turned. So let's keep it that way for as long as possible. And I don't want to hear or smell any pumpkin yet. It's just too early. No pumpkin spice yet, please. Okay, here are the 6 books. I digress. When the Heavens Went on Sale by Ashley Vance. Now, this was a great book recommendation from our friend of the show, colleague and astronomer, John Reed. John said that this was a fantastic look, a great insight by Ashley, who I believe is also the author of the Elon Musk biography. So you know it's going to be quality writing. I'm looking forward to this book. It's quite intense and it's full of details, but I'm going to love to learn about the space economy, what to look for in the future, and how the heavens went on sale by Ashley Vance. Okay, the 6th is by Lauren Grush. This is about the first women who ventured into space, and this is a story that is often unknown and untold. So I can't wait for picking up that. In a similar spirit, Fighting for Space is by Amy Sherrar Tidal. I hope I got that right, Amy. This seemed to be the next logical read in my obsession to learn more about aviators Jackie Cochran and Jerry Cobb. After reading American Fly Girl by friend of the show and former guest Susan Tate, I was obsessed and I needed to learn more. And in her book, when she talks about our first Chinese American aviator, female, she hinted towards and made reference to the pathway that Jackie and Jerry made. So I already had some familiarity with them, but I can't wait to dig into this true story about these amazing American female aviators. Very much looking forward to this book. Okay, next up is Space Craze by Margaret Weintenkamp. This book celebrates America's endless enthusiasm for space and space exploration. Yes, please. This is one of those books that really caught my eye. So sometimes the cover is what sells you and you just grab it and you're already in. And sometimes it's the story itself. This one was all cover. So cool. Space Race. All right, the next one is not space related whatsoever because sometimes, yes, friends, I do read things. When I first posted this and I shared my list, which I'll share here in the podcast show notes, and of course in my Extra Space newsletter, someone asked me right away, "Do you read any nonfiction?" Yes, very rarely. Very rarely. I have so much to learn that sometimes if I'm going to pick something that's going to be nonfiction, I want to do my homework and make sure it's worth my time. And I'm really going to enjoy it. And I have in the last several months and years. I've read a couple of books, but that's for another podcast. Okay, How to Win Friends and Influence Fungus and Fungi by college pals Matt Wazowski, love that name, and Chris Balakrishnan. Okay, this promises the most interesting, fun, and informative presentations about science, history, the arts, pop culture, you name it. Now, this book is in the spirit of What If, which I have down in my library, and it's one of my favorite books. What If is this book where the author is a former NASA engineer that took these ridiculous questions like, what if there was what if there was a Tyrannosaurus Rex on an asteroid? Like ridiculous questions. And he applies physics and science around these questions to do his best attempt to answer them. What if? It's like if a kid made the most ridiculous thesis and put it out there for adults to have fun answering. That's the whole book. And this one, How to Win Friends and Influence Fungi, is the same. I can't wait, except new, and I can't wait to get my hands on it. And finally, the last non-space related book, Aristotle's Guide to Self-Persuasion by Jay Heinrichs. Okay, this is again non-space. Oh my gosh, hold your breath. I'm stepping into another new brave project. I'm nervous about it. I have a lot to learn. I'm hoping that this book will help me. Sometimes it's just that simple. I see something where it's in my mind, it's front and center at the time, and therefore I pick something up to read about it in the hopes of learning. And that's what it's all about, right? Because I believe that stories really do connect us to one another better. And that's the belief of the heart of my work at Stories of Space, our non-for-profit that you're aware of. If you're tuning into the podcast for the first time, welcome. And if you haven't yet discovered Stories of Space, it's an opportunity for you to send your story for free to us through the website. And then we take that story about space or exploration and we launch it to space. It's fantastic. And we're already, gosh, we've done 5 missions now, and it's only been a couple of years. So stories, I believe, again, really help us make sense of our origins and explore our ideas, shape our future. And reading is one way that we can do that together and have these shared experiences. So whether you're reading to relax, to educate, entertain, or to be inspired, there's no wrong way, there's no wrong book, there's no wrong story. What matters is that we keep going, we keep reading, we keep learning. And if there's anything I've missed here in my list of the 6 books for the fall for us to read together, let me know. Will you send me some of your recommended reads? I love hearing from you. I love when you give me the recommendation of a great book. If you're an author and you want to join me here on the show and you are in the works currently on your book, my goodness, let's talk about it, especially if it's space related or space exploration. That's what we do here at Casual Space. We have these casual conversations, not too technical, family friendly, so everyone can learn in this season of back to school. Okay, so now you've got my 6 books for the fall, my wish list reads. If there's anything else you would like to weigh in on, or please don't spoil it if these books have a spoiler, but let me know what you think. And you can find us everywhere on the socials. Casual Spaces on Facebook. We are on Instagram. We are on LinkedIn with the newsletter Extra Space as well. And then if you feel so inspired to write your own original story and share it and send it on our next adventure, storiesofspace.com. Okay, thanks for letting me share this with you. I'm going to get back to some Walt Disney reads, probably for the 3rd time. And I look forward to joining you right here next week in Casual Space. Take care.
If you enjoyed this episode, give it some stars by rating and reviewing it on your podcast platform. Embrace the space. Casual Space.